I've had to go with a completely different software to stream. So nothing is pretty. I have to go with straight OBS. None of my commands are going to work, so it is what it is. Let's go to the craft cam. We'll just start talking, and I have my internet open on my Twitch page, and hopefully I can see the chat that way. I don't know what happened with Streamlabs, but it shit the bed. All of my settings are right. It's not tracking any sound whatsoever. So hopefully everyone can hear me. Everyone can hear me. Yeah, I have sound. Okay. So that's something anyway. Let's just knit. Let's just knit. It's a situation. All right. You're going to get nothing but the craft cam today. I am sorry. And it's not really zoomed in great. That's going to bother me. I'm sure it's fine. So that means I need to do some test streams and figure out where the heck my mics and sound system has gone. I didn't change any settings or anything. It's just not working. No captions today. This is a very basic stream, which sucks. Let me see here. No, I can't do any of that at the moment. Oh, I'm really big. Okay, we won't do that. Hold on. I'm gonna do this on the fly here. Real time. There we are. How's that? Sure, that's fine. It's scary, but I'm here and you can see my lovely face. That's fine. Okay, let's just get knitting. At least it feels a little bit more normal having two screens. I don't have any of my captions, none of the commands, but that's okay. It is what it is. So I apologize in advance if you're chatting and I miss it. I have it open, but it's hidden behind my other webcam, so hopefully that's not going to be too much of a problem. All right, so apparently this is just a continuation of Wednesday. Although I feel like streaming today, which Wednesday was not the case for me that day. Yeah, I don't know why my shoutouts didn't work earlier. Like, honestly, I think it's Streamlabs. I think that's when it took a dump. I don't know what the deal is there, but... And I was excited because I've had great internet connection all day. Nothing has dropped. I was watching streams and getting inspired to do some really cool weaving. But I guess there has to be a problem every day. There has to be a problem, and today it's a yucky looking stream. So, what's going on in life? This week I am officially working again in that I'm still at home, but I have timed demands on my day again, which has not been the case for a couple months. So vacation is over. It's time to do a real job type thing. So, which is fine because I really wasn't getting much accomplished here at home anyway. And I got my hair cut this week, so I'm looking a little bit more Jamie Lee Curtis, a little less 90s TV sitcom dad, which is good. Feeling a bit more like myself. We've opened it up enough to allow haircuts, so that's good. It's not my mic. Because nothing was being picked up. It's definitely Streamlabs. Maybe there's an update or something that I'm missing. I don't know. I tried restarting my computer. All of it. Nothing was working. I tried a different mic and headset, and so I know it's not the hardware. Right, we're on row 2 here of our pattern repeat, so it's just a knit purl row. I'm going to sneeze. Feels like there's like a cat hair stuck in my nose. Okay. The moment she has passed. Oh my gosh. Let's see, what else has happened this week? Not much, actually. It's been a fairly quiet week all around. But like I said, we're starting to open things up a little bit more. We're actually moving to stage 3 sooner than anticipated. So stage 3 here in Ontario means that indoor dining is open at limited capacity. We can start to have things like larger worship services, concerts, bars, that sort of thing is starting to open. Gyms are open. No restriction on personal care services aside from the need for masks where possible, where necessary, you know, that sort of thing. I'm just noticing that the CraftCam has a mic on this software, so hopefully it didn't pick up the noise. It doesn't look like there was any levels there. Hopefully it's just the mic you're getting and not an echo. This is incredibly frustrating. I'm incredibly frustrated with the software right now. Like, why cannot this not work? It shouldn't be hard. There's always something. But at least you got music and Spotify showing up. Honestly, if it wasn't for the extra features that Streamlabs offers, like the commands and that sort of thing, I probably would only use the OBS anyway. But it has all those super cool features, and it is an OBS-based software. But anyway, I feel like I'm going to complain about that for some time today. I'll try not to harp on it. It also shows me the chat on my screen, which is handy. I have to look around my mic, and because you can see my webcam, my CraftCam is right here. If you look in the, I mean, don't look directly at my finger, but there it is. So it's in the view, and that drives me bonkers. So I have to look around my CraftCam in order to see my other monitor where my pattern is and the chat is. I mostly have this pattern memorized though, so that's the good thing. Oh, I missed a yarn over there. There we go. We're just going to add it in. That's what being distraught about technology not working does to me. So yes, being that we're able to, that we're opening up, we were actually able to have folks over yesterday. We gamed in person. We played Magic the Gathering, which we haven't done in what, like a year. So nice. And we go full stage 3 next week, so just in time for the next set of Magic the Gathering to drop. The pre-release kits are going to be available as of next week Friday, and that just happens to be when stage 3 is, so we can go full hog on the I almost said full Monty. Let's not go full Monty. Let's go full hog on the gaming, on the Magic gaming. I had actually considered starting to play Magic the Gathering Arena in order to gain some familiarity with that particular set. That set is already available on that game. I'm not a big fan of Arena. There's several, if you play Magic the Gathering, you're familiar with the various formats of the game. There's multiple different ways and rules of playing the game. And I am, generally speaking, I prefer Commander format, which essentially means you're limited to one card of the same name in your deck. You can't have duplicates of cards, and 100 cards total in your deck. And then you play with something called a Commander, and there's special rules surrounding the Commander itself. So I'm generally a Commander player, and Arena does not account for Commander play. So it's not really that appealing to me in that respect. And I have a hard time getting past the tutorial because it forces you to, that sounds awful to say, right? I've been playing the game for 15 years and I can't get past the tutorial because it forces you to make certain moves in order to learn the game. And those ways of doing it is stupid. Why would I drag out the game? Let me do it my way. I'll defeat my opponent and move on. But all that to say is I lack a familiarity with a lot of cards, which is a problem when playing, because if you don't know the types of combinations that your cards can do, all the abilities that your cards can do, and you don't know what the abilities of your opponent's cards are, it can cost you the game. It can cost you some big moves, some problems there. So I was thinking about starting to play that just to get some familiarity with the cards, to at least allow me to make some better decks, because this particular set is themed on Dungeons and Dragons and it looks so great, and I'm so excited to play it that I know that I will be making decks left, right, and center on this theme. I just know it. All right. I think that we are almost done this row. This is round 3 of our repeat. I'm so frustrated with Streamlabs, folks. This is not even cool. They'll be getting a nasty gram. I'll have to go all Karen on them. Software when it works. Hello, All Crafty. Thank you for joining my stream today. You've caught me on a perfect day when Streamlabs took a dump and isn't working. So my stream is ugly today because it's not the layout that I prefer, but I have no commands. I have no extra functions. It's just me and my knitting. We're being all pure today, but it is what it is. Starting round 4 of our pattern repeat. And then we have one more pattern repeat on our lace. And then we start the cuff and we'll have a finished sock. So exciting. You're knitting. What sock are you knitting? Is there a pattern you want to share with us? On the heel. That is my favorite part. Honestly, I love turning a heel. Top down, toe up, doesn't matter. I love turning a heel. It's just something magical about that. I have a preference for toe-up socks myself, only because I really dislike grafting. And usually those involve short row heels, which is also great because you don't have to pick up stitches on the side. The more I can do without dropping any stitches or anything like that, picking up, the better. I said dropping stitches and I just dropped that stitch. That's fine. So this sock is only the first of the pair, and I've decided I'm going to do the second one off stream because everyone has watched me do the one sock. It's kind of boring to watch a second sock being made. And until I grasp the 2 at a time concept, one sock it is. Ooh, I'm just gonna pause a sec here and take a look at this. Heel toe do-si-do. Okay, let's take a look. Oh, that's cool. And are you using a self-striping yarn for this as well? That's really great. Very nice, I like it. I have to add that to my queue. I've lost where I am. Why do I have a... Oh, because that was my yarn over. Okay, I'm good. Never ever stop in the middle of a row. You just don't. Self-striping, nice, awesome. I love self-striping yarns. I don't have nearly enough in my stash. It takes so much thought away from having to work with multiple colors, and it works up so nice. Adds such a lovely texture to it, and I love them in shawls as well. If I were to work it with a straight color in shawls, I love a self-striping in that as well. Hi, Yarn Spinner Tales. Thank you. I'm not a big fan of this one in particular, this yarn. It's a little on the, well, let me rephrase. The yarn itself is nice, but I got this from a monthly yarn box thing that it seemed to me like every month I got the same kind of yarn. It was always white or a lime green with some blue fleck in it. And in fact, the next pair of socks that I'll work with is actually a very similar yarn. It looks almost identical, and I got this yarn box kit almost, I want to say about 8 months worth, and all I got were these yarns, so I got awfully tired of them. So now I am stuck with trying to find interesting sock patterns that I can use this kind of boring yarn on. So that's why we're doing lace socks. Oh well. It is what it is. That's why we try and make it as interesting as possible. But the problem with an interesting pattern is then I have to pay attention to the interesting pattern. So it's a very fine line, because I tend to start yammering on and losing my place in the pattern. Okay, one more pattern repeat to go before we do the cuff. Oh, we're starting a new pattern repeat. I just realized. I just messed this entire thing up. Hold on, gotta think back. There we go, we're okay. I was just gonna start knitting. It's a good thing we're almost at the cuff here. Yeah, I thought for a monthly club that I would start to get, like, I would get some really fun yarns and lots of color. I love a lot of color in my yarn. But it was really frustrating to see almost every month I get the same kind of yarn. I am gonna have to stop doing toe-up socks though, because it's the cuff-down ones that have all the fun cables and that sort of thing. The toe-up ones do as well, but there's not as many. Most people don't like toe-up socks. Yeah, so this week I'm back at work again. It's not like full time. I'm still doing a lot of stuff that on my own time, but at least there are demands on my time, which is going to be taking some getting used to after months of just being free. But it's time. It's definitely time that I need to start being responsible. It's fun to not have those responsibilities though, but sometimes you start to wonder about your worth. Your team cuff down all crafty. I can get that, you know, and there's a lot of benefits to doing cuff down for sure. It certainly it makes for a better fit for me, I've noticed. I really dislike grafting so much that I just am not a... Try to avoid it at all costs, because every time I graft, I have to look up the video, and then I have to do it along with the video, and I have to say it out loud with the video. It's not something that my brain seems to grasp. I did fabric clubs from several dyers, and they're all, yeah. I think what the problem was, this one was, I don't want to say it was cheap because it's a fiber club, so it's not cheap, but it was more commercial than an indie dyer would possibly be, and it just wasn't in my budget at the time to really support an indie dyer the way I wanted. I think I would have been a lot happier had I done that, but it was an interesting experience. I mean, I got a lot of... The yarn itself is really great, and just because I'm not happy with the colors I got, that's, you know, that's just a personal thing. I still would recommend anyone who's able to do a yarn club to do so, but it made me leery about not getting stuff that I liked. A Kitchener dog tag, nice, nice. Just to have it in front of you all the time. Yeah, I'm so bad with that. I hate it. I have a whole sweater behind me here that needs the back. It was knit with from the front, center front, around, and then it needs to be grafted up along the back, and it has been sitting on my sewing form for 2 years waiting for that grafting to be done. I hate it so much. I really should have considered that when I chose the pattern before I knit an entire sweater. But it's such a pretty sweater, and one day it'll be done and it'll look amazing and I will be happy with it. But until that day, it sits on the sewing form waiting, because I hate grafting. This taught me to actually check my patterns before I knit them. It is incredibly frustrating to have to constantly check around my... I don't know if you folks were on earlier when I had my streaming problems, but Streamlabs has taken a poop and it's not working. So now I don't have my chat in front of me where I'm actually looking. I have to look around my cameras to find my chat. It's fine. All right. We're done one lace row. Ooh, dropping stitches. Of course, the downside to doing toe-up socks is so many use the Judy's Magic Cast On, which I also have to watch videos and remind myself of. But at least I remember that one a whole lot better than I do a grafting stitch. Okay. Yeah, that's just going to be a nice, I think I'm just going to carry up that lace without the lace portion for the cuff. The pattern itself for this sock doesn't have a cuff on it. It just continues on until you figure the sock is done and then it binds off, which I'm not a fan of. But I think if I just do like an inch of ribbing the same knits and purls that the pattern has, I think that'll be nice for a ribbing. And hopefully Wednesday won't be a bad day, so I'll actually be able to do some crocheting with you folks. Because I know it's been touch and go on Wednesdays. But it should be okay this week. Having some structure in life is good. So that's one benefit to being back at work anyway, I guess. I have to start knowing what day of the week it is. Not sleeping in till late. The song sounds really familiar. Like I've played this game. I don't know. I don't even know if you can hear the music, but it sounds very like Final Fantasy style. Okay, last lace round. If my camera can stay focused. Not that it really matters, it's so far away. Oh well. Oh, I didn't even do the lace in that repeat. Okay. This is what happens when things don't work. I stop paying attention to things. I get all flustered and then my brain goes, no, we must hyper-focus on whatever is bothering you at this moment. Knit 2, purl 1, knit 2 together, yarn over, purl. Two together without splitting the yarn. This is also a really splitty yarn, which I'm not fond of. What else is going on? Where hasn't really been a really big news week either. It's like news is boring for some reason this week. It's all the same as it has been, which I suppose is a bit of a blessing, right? We don't really need that kind of excitement in our lives. Did I do a yarn over on that last? I did, okay. Yarn Spinners, if you're still in there today, I really enjoyed your stream today. I did have to walk away for a good chunk of it, and I never saw if you managed to finish your weaving project or not. But that was super cool. It was so magical to watch it come together. I'll have to check out the video to see how it ended. That's not a yarn over. I need to knit two together. It's been so great watching all these different crafting streams, the different things that folks are doing. It's so interesting. It just keeps adding to the amount of crafts that I need to put on my queue. And I have a friend who has been documenting her journey in learning bookbinding. And now, of course, now I need to find a stream where someone does that, because that looked really interesting. I could probably watch that for hours. You did. It got slower and harder at the end, I guess, because it probably got really squished in the middle, I imagine. And with the length that you had to go through. But hopefully it came off everything all right. I think that kind of weave that you did would probably be really great to embroider afterwards. Make some nice placemats or something along that line. It's just something else I'm gonna have to try now, you know. Add it to the already growing queue. All right, this is the last of our lace repeats entirely for this entire sock. That'll be 30 lace repeats done for the full length of the sock. Yeah, I think bookbinding would be interesting. I don't know if it would be boring to watch, but I find the notion of it interesting. I mean, there would be a lot of steps involved, and I don't know how well that would translate into streaming, but it's definitely something I'm willing to look for. That's just it, right, All Crafty? Like, where do we find the time to do all these things? Everything looks so interesting. Just the amount of knitting and crocheting projects on the go. Just want to make it all. There's only so much time in the day. Just dedicate 15 minutes to whatever. That's it. That's all we get. I've been trying to squeeze in 15 minutes of reading time a day as well, and that's... some days it's really hard to get that in. But If that's something you want to do, I guess. But between life, all the demands a regular day puts on us, and then to find time to do stuff to relax to, it's tricky. Okay, that is it for pattern repeats. So let's see if I can get this in to show you. So you can actually see a bit of the pattern here. It's not bad, huh? Nice little rows of lace. You can see why it's called Bubbles All the Way Down, or Bubbles Down the Drain. I think it's called Bubbles Down the Drain, because you have little rows of bubbles. It's cute. All right, I'm gonna move my little pin. It is pretty, I like it. All right, I'm gonna move my pin here so that I know where to measure our cuff, and I'm just gonna start marking how many rows of cuff so that the second sock has the same number of rows. Next time I wanna use a multicolor yarn on the loom. Oh, that would be nice. Yeah, that would be nice. I wonder if doing smaller squares with a check pattern would be good. That kind of a weave as well. Okay. Sorry, I'm just writing down what I'm doing so that for the second sock, I can continue on the same way. All right, so this lace pattern is knit 2, purl 1, essentially, with their yarn overs in there. So I'm just going to not do the yarn overs and just do a knit 2, purl 1 cuff from here. And we're going to try and make it about an inch. So I'm thinking it's probably going to be about 9 or 10 rows maybe. And I'm going to take out my stitch markers too, because I no longer need to worry about those. Should go fairly fast from this point forward now. And then I'll be one more sock closer to my goal for the year. I'm not making my goal for the year. I know I'm not. I've already pooped the bed for the year. My goal was to do a pair of socks each month for the year, and I have a whole single pair completed. That's where I'm at. This is pair number 2. And given that we're in July, I don't think I'm going to be making another 11 pairs of socks. It's just not happening. I have too many other projects on the go. Maybe I should have left a stitch mark. Oh no, I have my pin there. That'll tell me the start of the row. But the second sock will now be TV knitting for this one, while we start a third pair. That's something that streaming has definitely done, is given me a dedicated time for doing this stuff. So if I don't make the time, it just doesn't happen. Thanks, your Spitter Tales. Thanks for stopping by. Enjoy your supper. Hopefully it's tasty. Had mine just before started streaming. Fortunately, I'm married to a man who is an excellent cook, because I'm not. And he made us some really good pork chops and rice, and so yummy. In a mushroom sauce, I love it. All right. One row done. Okay. And that pin's gonna get in the way. I really should just find my actual stitch markers. It's stuck in another project somewhere. As I was trying to get my stuff together for my next pair of socks, I was trying to find a pair of circular sock-sized needles for the cast on. That was harder than trying to pick up do most of this stuff. Like, it took forever to try and find all my things, because I have dedicated areas for all of my supplies, but I'll finish a project and then I'll say, yeah, I'll put this away later. It was yummy. It was yummy. Pork chops in a mushroom sauce is my favorite way of having pork chops. Drop in stitches. What did I do? There we go. Anyway, I don't have for my cast on for my next pair of socks the right size needles. So we're gonna fake it once I'm done here. I'm gonna do the cast on slightly larger needles and then switch through. Because I'm not a fan of circulars for socks, so I don't have a whole lot of sock-sized circulars. I tend to prefer a double-pointed needle. So trying to figure out where I put all this stuff. It's like a treasure hunt every time. One day I'll learn to put it all away immediately. I'm getting there. This room is a dedicated craft room, and I'm starting to actually have like proper, this is where all of my needles go. I'm starting to consolidate all this stuff together. It's just taking time. One exciting thing, since we're starting to open back up and restaurants can have people in them now, I'll be able to have a really great steak. So good. Can't wait. If I had a guilty pleasure, that would be it. Enjoying restaurant steak. Going to a steakhouse. I don't know that buffets are open yet. That is definitely, if I miss one thing thanks to COVID, it's buffets. I do not live in the US. I live in Ontario, in Canada. I think most of the states are far more open than we are. We're just getting out of our lockdowns here. There's a couple provinces that are a bit more open than we are, but we're getting there. That's fine. I enjoyed my time at home. There's got to be a perk to it all, right? I'm a fairly homebody type person anyway. It didn't and as a family, we tend to like to stay home to do a lot of things. Like our entertainment is game nights and that sort of thing. We don't tend to like to go out too much with big crowds and things. We're not really fans of that, so it really didn't impact our family in that respect too much. I mean, obviously there was still an impact, but yeah, that's what it seems like, that you guys are far more open than we are. It's interesting to see how each different government around the world is reacting to all of this. I think I was reading recently that Australia is even more locked down than we are, that they've completely shut everything down with far fewer cases as well. So I guess, you know, you do what works for you. You know what, I think I just realized that I didn't mark off that last row. I think I'm on the third row. And I only have one marked down. I'm fairly certain. I'll count it once I get to my stitch marker. I'm gonna have to pause for a bit of a neck stretch here. Maybe open the window because it's very stuffy in this room. Yep, that was 3 rows there. Hopefully that's okay. I think the humidity has gone down enough today that opening a window now is fine. This room gets so very hot and stuffy. But we're in an area of the country that gets very, not only hot, but humid. And that just makes it worse. So it's better to have the windows closed than to try and let all that humidity in the house. There's a bit of a breeze. Hopefully the vehicles and noise outside isn't too bad. Just let me know if it is. Yeah, I'm thinking 10 rows is probably going to be just about perfect for the cuff. That'll be right around an inch. Oh, I didn't do the stretch. I can feel it in my back. It's okay. Oh, thank you for the follow, All Crafty. I appreciate it. on this the day that my Streamlabs has taken a dump and I can't actually get the notification properly. But I appreciate it. Thank you. Even though it said Streamlabs has made that notification, I don't know. I don't know. I don't even have Streamlabs running right now. So clearly there is something going on with my software today. Maybe it's still monitoring the thing, I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely watching crafting on Twitch. It's definitely become a really cool pastime. The stuff that people come up with, it's amazing. And I love the interactiveness of it as well. Like, it's almost like you have your own Stitch and Bitch club doing that sort of thing, you know? You're able to chat with people and work on your own projects and see new stuff. It's very inspiring. This will be row 5 of the cuff. So yeah, it won't take long at all to finish this one off. I don't think I'm going to do a special bind off on it either. I think I'm just going to do it loosely and it should be good to go. And hopefully it'll fit my foot. I mean, it fit at the heel, so I don't see any reason why it wouldn't fit at the cuff. There's still a bit of stretch in there. I've been spinning quite a bit for the last few weeks, really enjoying that. Nice. Are you taking part in the Tour de Fleece? Or do you follow Tour de Fleece? I know there's been a lot of spinners on over the last couple weeks doing that particular challenge. It's not something that I'm very good at myself. I do have a drop spindle, but it's very slow going and I have problem. I'm still very beginner. I do want to get better at it. And I'd love ideally to have a spinning wheel, of course. But that's not in the budget yet. And I almost feel like I have to learn how to do the drop spindle first. I know that's a really ridiculous thing to say. But it feels like I should learn to drop spindle first before I find a machine to help me with spinning. Just a cheerleader this year. Okay, cool. Well, that is super neat. I love the idea of spinning my own yarn. There is a particular, if you're able to catch them, there is a streamer Cotton Spun. Let me just check here. I think that's their name. Yes, Cotton Spun, if you've seen any of their streams. And they spin cotton, and then they weave said cotton, and then they are sewing clothing from those bolts that they are weaving. Which is just, to me, is like, and they're hand sewing it using the thread that they have spun. It's crazy. It's a lot of work for a garment, but it would be so worth it. So if you have a chance to check out their streams, really interesting to watch. I feel like I missed another row here. Maybe not. This might still be row 5. Nope, that's 5. Okay. Yeah, that would be nice, huh? Just to be able to have something of your own that you made start to finish. That just is so exciting. So are you spinning thin enough for sock weight? That's my problem right now, is I can't get past like a really big chunky yarn. So I know I'm drafting wrong. I know that's where I need to work on my stuff, but I guess so. In a few days. You did say in a few days, so you must be spinning sock weight. If I read the entire message, Shakti. Well, maybe I'll just use a slightly larger needles to bind off. Maybe that'll be a better idea. That way that won't be too tight of a bind off. Yeah, that's working out to be a nice ribbing. I'm glad I decided to do it that way. That's so cool. You spun in your car. That's so great. That's so exciting. Oh my gosh. Can't imagine spinning in my car. I can knit and crochet. Well, I can crochet. Knitting is a problem in the car because I tend to get a little bit woozy knitting because I actually have to watch my knitting when I do it. With crochet, I don't have to look at it. I can just go and not think about it. So granny squares I can do in the car. But to spin, that would be crazy. Crazy. Yeah, we haven't even made vacation plans this year at all because we weren't sure about when everything was going to be opening up, and there's no point traveling anywhere if it's all going to be closed down. But I think what we're probably going to end up doing is in September, my brother is actually moving here to the same city as I'm in. From across the country. So we'll probably take some time off to kind of help with that process and get all the visiting in that we haven't gotten done in the last year and a half. Electric L Nanos. Oh, okay. That would make it a little bit easier with an electric spinning. That's really cool. And it's a little tiny, I won't say a tiny footprint, but it's a little footprint, right? It doesn't take up much space to use that one. I'm not too familiar with the electric machines, but maybe that'll be an option to look at instead of a wheel. I like the look of a wheel though. It's funny because I have an antique singer here in the room with me. It does work, but I don't use it. Actually, you might actually even be able to see it. No, I don't think you can. Anyway, there is an antique singer behind me. So I like collecting these old things. I have another one that is just waiting for a truck to get here as well. And yesterday my kid was out in an antique shop and I got photos of a spinning wheel. And at least I'm knowledgeable enough to know that it was not a complete wheel. There was a lot of pieces missing from it, so it's not one that I would be able to use, but I was like, I think that I would love to have one of those just to have as a showpiece in my room, which is, I think, is why they were selling it that way. It holds 2 ounces on each bobbin. It's budget friendly. Oh! That is budget friendly. I'll have to look into that. Is it fairly easy to use? Did you find that it was a good learning curve for you? Antique center as well as treadle. Yeah, this one's a treadle as well that I have behind me. It's just a nice showpiece, and it still works. It's just not anything I'm ever going to use because I'll break it. Because that's kind of how I do things. But I love having those things on display. It makes it look like I know what I'm doing. Gotta have a collection of something, right? To be honest, it was hard to learn on it, but it finally got it tweaked. Okay. Alright, cool. So were you able to, I'm gonna have questions for you now. Was this something that you had to figure out how to tweak it yourself, or was it like from the place that you purchased it from, they were able to help you, or is that like just gonna watch a whole lot of YouTube to figure it out? Or I know nothing about it, so very little about it. But that's definitely cheaper than a wheel. And it might be an option. But I do want to get a new drop spindle because I think Yarn Spinner's Tales, who was on earlier, she was talking about perhaps a heavier spindle than what I am using might be an option for me based on the problems that I'm having. So I do want to try that, but it's going to involve, I want to go into a store to do that, and where we've been closed down for so long, they're only just starting to open up, so maybe within the next month or so I'll actually get into my local yarn store and have a chat with a live person and get that actually sorted out. They have a group and there are people that help you if you need it. Okay. Just found a toy singer machine at Antique. A toy singer, really? That's cool. That's really great. I guess motivates kids to learn too if it actually works and allows them to make things. And as long as they're careful around the needle, there's no reason why not. I know when I was a kid there was toy sewing machines you could get, little pink, I don't want to say like Fisher Price style, and they would work like for about 15 minutes. That may be dating myself too. But I'm hardly a spring chicken, so that should be obvious. But I suppose they have those little portable sewing devices that allow you to do curtains and that sort of thing. I can't see it being much different than that for a toy. I don't know why I keep feeling like I'm missing rows here, that I'm not actually counting them properly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, 7. Okay. I am getting there. Although I'm thinking, like when I was a kid though, I did learn to sew when I was a kid. I did 4-H, and my mother is an avid seamstress. And I just learned on her machine. It wasn't like we got a separate machine to teach us to sew. She taught us by hand first and then on the machine. But she had a workhorse machine, of course, all steel parts, right? The older machines. So there was very little we could do to break it. And some of the cheaper toy model ones would, like, all you'd have to do is fight with it to get rid of the jams and stuff, it seemed like. Thank you for that link. I'm just going to check it out here. And it's purple. So pretty. Or black. Okay. That's really interesting. It's so mini. I'm definitely going to have to check that out. I may have to try it. Does it come with all those spindles and everything as well? Spin card. Yeah, it looks like, huh? 6 bobbins. Okay, cool. That is so cool. Thank you for that. Thank you. I'll definitely be investigating that further. That would be really great. Not that I have a shortage of yarn in the house. My husband will love it. Guess what, dear? I need to buy more fiber things. It's sustainability. It's worth it. Okay, I will check those out. Thank you. I think I've watched Rogue Knitter before. I've been following a lot of crafters. I'm just going to write this down because I know I'm going to forget. Okay, noted so that I can check them out later. Yeah, I can see my some protests happening. Stop watching all those streams. You're getting too many crafts. But it makes me happy. And I mean, I'm gonna craft anyway. I may as well do stuff that I enjoy. There is just a slight breeze. It's just teasing. It's not enough to actually make a difference. Oh well, at least there's some air movement here. Don't even know what size needles these are. I'm just thinking because if I do the bind off, I should use a larger needle size, which means I need to recall what size needles I'm actually using. I'll just check the pattern. Although I think I have the case for these somewhere in my project bag. This is round 9. So it's going to be just more than an inch, I think, if I do 10 rounds. No, right, just about exactly an inch. Yeah, okay, well, that's what I get for doubting myself. Almost exactly an inch for 10 rounds. It's not like I have a swatch or anything for how many stitches per inch or whatever for this particular pattern. I think I've only ever done that for one pair of socks. Because it was time to swatch. I'll just pull it out. Which is a really bad idea. But it's socks. What's the worst that can happen? They're tight and then I give them away. That's it. That's the worst that can happen. I'm sure I could find someone who would wear them. Although they could be too big too, and then I still give them away. Shoulder movement, good to go. Still haven't decided against the notion of a GoPro for knitting because this viewpoint, although you can see what I'm doing, is not ideal, and it's hard on the back. But if I do this from my lounge chair, it's even worse. You definitely can't see anything that I'm doing. Last round, then a bind off. It's a fairly wide cuff, actually. Oh well. It'll be fine. These will be good socks for some Mary Jane shoes or something. It'll be good. going to need some fiber for spinning as well. I have some, which is enough for the drop spindle. I'm gonna have to budget in that if I'm going to get another spinner. Oh, what? Oh dear, right? What a tragedy. I'm sure finding that won't be a problem. Okay, there we are. That's 10. So now we do the bind off. I'm going to just check my needle size. I bet you it is addicting to see that being created in front of you like that. .5mm. These are 2.5mm needles. I may as well leave that out because I will need, no, because my neck socks are also 2.5s. So, .75s, which I happen to have handy because that's how I'm going to do the cast on for the next sock. And I think that'll be loose enough for a bind off. Oh, I hope I have scissors up here. We'll find out. I'm pretty sure I do. Because it just occurred to me that I'm going to have to cut this yarn. I've done this before, I promise. I know what I'm doing. I'm actually really looking forward to streaming on Wednesday to get back at my crocheted blanket. It's been sitting there languishing for a few weeks now, percolating, just sitting there. I'm eager to get back to it. Come on. This is also part of the benefit for a toe-up sock for me, is I find that my cast-ons are so tight that the cuffs are difficult if I go top down. I'm often have to go a few sizes bigger on my needles to accommodate for that. It's just good to know where your limits are. Find what works best for you. it's a whole lot harder to find interesting toe-up patterns. It's perfect for a vanilla sock though. Yeah, that's pretty. I'm definitely going to have to make time during my week to do the other sock for this one, otherwise it'll just sit there not done. Falling prey to second sock syndrome. In reality though, I think it'll only last as long as my other sock is being worked on, because I only have 2 yarn bowls. And if I want to do a third pair of there. How about now? Maybe? I don't know. Says there is input now. I'm hoping that it's fixed. Okay. Every once in a while the cable comes out of my mic. and it stops. So that's what I get, I guess. That's okay. I've done streams in the past where I haven't even plugged my mic in. The entire thing. Like I've just done the entire thing without... Oh, mic. Who needs a mic? Fortunately, I at least had captions that day. Unlike today. Just gonna leave in my ends, make this disappear. Not as stretchy as I like, but it's okay. It'll do, donkey. Alright, let's see this finished sock. Let's snip the end first. Then we'll see a finished sock. One complete sock. There we go. Yeah, that'll look really nice. Go. Perfect. So 30 pattern repeats made it just the perfect length. I'm even happy with the cuff. We're good to go. I think that doing a ribbed cuff was probably a lot better than doing the pattern and just ending it at the pattern. I don't think that would have worked out as nicely. So that was a welcome change. Yep. Okay. That was Bubble Down the Drain by Very Pink. I think it's Very Pink, because I've closed my pattern window and I don't know for sure. I'm going to say it's Very Pink. Available on Ravelry. So, let me put this away and I will pull out my stuff for my next one. It's still on a 2.5mm needles. I'm going to put that with that yarn bowl, get that out of the way. And there's the project bag for that one. So like I said, I don't have the circulars I need to do Judy's cast on, magic cast on in the appropriate size. So I'm going to do the cast on and the first round using the circulars, and then I'm going to switch to the double points of the appropriate size for the remainder of the sock. And the sock that I'll be working from, I actually printed out the pattern this time, is Early Bird Socks from Knitty, and let me just link that here. Here we go. There we go. All right, so, and of course, because it's Knitty, it's free. So free is good. Free is very good. And the yarn that I'm using is, that's probably important information to have too. I have the label somewhere. I know it's the same kind of yarn that I just used, which was, you can't see because it's a Knit Crate Knitology sock, which will be, I think it's, this is not the right label for it. This is the label for the last sock, but it's a merino, superwash merino and nylon blend. I have a label somewhere for it. Okay, so Judy's Magic Cast On. I did watch a video for it, so I'm hoping that I can remember it. I need to cast on 32 altogether for the toe. And you're not going to be able to see it very well, so I apologize. Go do a few things if I'm still on in a bit. Okay, thanks All Crafty. Thanks for joining me today. If I don't see you again today, I appreciate you stopping in. Okay, so I am using, I forget which one needs to go on top. I think it's my working yarn on top. And let's see if I remember how to do this. So I go from the outside in, and I have to do this 16 stitches on each needle. Come on. Here we are. Which one did I just do? I have 5, so I've just done the bottom one. So 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10, 11, 11, 12, 12, 13, 13, 14, 14, 15, 15, 16, and 16. Okay, that is looking like pearl bumps on the bottom. I know you can't really see, and this is really a horrible view, but I am trusting that this is right. So now I move this, turn it around. My working yarn is where? There. Pull that out. All right, and then I'm knitting on this side. I'm knitting the 16 as they lay. So Sorry, this is going to be quiet as I do this because this cast on is not an expert at it, so there. Now I switch sides, and this side I knit through the back loop. And this cable keeps getting twisted, which is a perfectly good example as to why I dislike this particular, although it's laying exactly right here, so I obviously twisted this. Oh no, this is my starting stitch. Yeah, no, I do have to knit through the back loop here. That one was my slip knot, so. So this is probably going to end up with a little bit of a bump on the toe, which I will just sew in after. I'm going to look for a pencil so I can mark off where I am on this particular pattern, because this one is a little bit more involved than the last sock. Okay, so now I have, I don't know if you can see that, it's really hard to see, but I have a little flap knit, which is magic. Okay, so I'm going to grab a pencil and mark off where I am, and swap to my appropriate needles. So that was round 1. There's my working yarn right there. So this is going to be the start of round 2, which is just a knit round. And 16 stitches over 4 needles, so I'll be putting 8 stitches on each needle. I'm sorry, that's really loud with all the banging going on. I apologize. Okay, that is not my working yarn. That is this yarn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Six, 7, 8. Sorry, I'm trying to not bang around so it's coming off camera here. There we go. This cast on is doable with double points, but it's a lot harder. And why make it harder? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. I'm going to leave this long tail here too, so that when I'm further into the foot, I'm going to sew up the little bubbles on the toe that seem to appear with this cast on as well. Tends to be a little bit bulby. There we are. Okay. I have a toe. I have 2 rounds done of the toe. Allow me to put my needles away so that I don't lose them, and I wonder what size needles these are. And marking off where I am. Okay. So the first 16 stitches form the instep, the second formed the sole. All right, so increase round. Oh, I printed this off a few days ago, and then I was looking at my pattern today, and I thought, oh, I missed the 3rd page because it's 3 pages of pattern. And the 3rd page, it's a new printer. I didn't realize we did double-sided knitting. So we're just going to, because I know me, cross that out so I don't do it twice. Okay, next round will be a knit, and then I repeat it. Oh, what size am I doing this? That's important to know. Circumference. Well, I need shown in size small on a size 9 foot. A size 9 foot is much larger than 7 7/4 circumference. Okay, I'm going to stitch a medium and hope that that's big enough. So, because I know myself, I will forget what size I knit. So we're going to do mark the mediums. Although the toe is pretty standard. That's 72 inches, or 72 inches, 72 stitches around, which is, it should fit. It feels big, but I'm gonna give it a try. If it is too big, what did I say? What's the worst that can happen? I just give it away. Give it away, give it away, give it away now. Okay. I'm gonna just chili pepper it. Okay. So this is an increase round. This is my working yarn. Okay. This is an increase round. So I am knitting one, making one right, knit one to the first dip before the instep. So I think I'm going to mark, I'm gonna have to mark the start of my row. All right, so knit one. I'm going to add a stitch marker for the start of my row, make one right. Insert the left needle from the back to the front under the horizontal strand, okay. And the following, so then knit to the front of this loop. Ooh, okay. From back to front. Did I do that? Back to front and knitting in the front of the loop. That seems backward to me, but I suppose it would be a very tight increase, because to me that would be a purl stitch that is made. Okay, and then knit across to the instep. Hold on. This particular yarn bowl doesn't have quite as nice a finish, and because this is a ball, not a cake, it's gonna roll all over the place. It's not gonna stay in the feed properly. That's okay. So I'm going to knit here to the to the last stitch without actually knitting the last stitch, and then do another increase. And this one will be inserting the needle from the front to the back and knitting through the back. Oof, which is tricky to do on tiny little stitches. Okay. Next, knit one from back to front, knitting through the front, I just realized I did all of that totally off camera, and I apologize. That's what I get to try and see. The thing is, not wearing any form of reading glasses, so I need to be able to see what I'm doing. I'm still waiting on my glasses to arrive that have the reading portion on it. Hopefully soon. I'm getting desperate. Don't get old, kids. Working this to the second last stitch and going from front to back and knitting through the back of that stitch. I definitely have a preference for the make one left. All right, that was an increase round, which is pretty simple. The next round will be a knit round, and I do that 9 more times, 10 times total. It is, I mean, a relatively simple toe, and it's nicer than having to pull out a provisional cast on, which is another form of doing, which is how we did the last sock, because then you're not pulling out extra yarn and whatnot. But I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not. I'm going to try and show it here, but this particular toe has a little bit of a bubble happening on the corner. Yeah, you can kind of see it. Anyway, which is the only problem with the Judy's cast on, I find. And also the reason why I'm keeping that really long end there is so that I can kind of tighten that up once I've gone in a bit. And I'll end up with 36 stitches, so 18 stitches on each needle when I'm done these increases. So 10 rounds of increases should give me, yes, 18 stitches on each needle, because I started with 8. I'll be doing 10 increases on each needle. That equals 18. Crazy how math works. All right. Increase round. That yarn is going to get in the way. Oof. I'm eager for this to be set up a bit better so that it doesn't, my needles don't flop everywhere. All right, from back to front, because this is a right side, and a knitting from the front. Oof, 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 stay on there. And taking my glasses off because I have a, my eyes require a plus prescription for distance, which most people require a minus prescription for distance, generally speaking. So taking off my glasses does not help me with reading like it does most people. I need like an extra magnification. Really the only thing that helps me is zooming it right into my face. That's getting in the way. Okay, from front to back, and then knitting through the back on this side. And that way the stitches lay the right direction. Okay, and we're going from the back to front. There we go. Stitching front to back. There we go. And hopefully this is a herringbone pattern going up the leg. So hopefully that'll be an interesting stitch pattern for this yarn, because it's the same problem with this yarn that I had with the last sock. So hopefully that's interesting enough. Alright, so I should have 10 stitches on each needle now. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You start to see a little pouch form in there, right? It's coming. It's coming. It's magic. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. So far, so good. Couple rows in. We're making it. We're making it. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good news, fam. It's working out. Okay. I need to move this out of the way. There we go. Hopefully I still have a mic, yes, because I touched the mic. Honestly, I'm so upset by that Streamlabs kerfuffle earlier. So that was a knit row. Now I need to do an increase. Back to front. Knitting through the front. Oops. Should be able to get this toe established today, which I will be happy with if we can get that done today. I'm going to have to look up the actual label for this yarn. I know where the label is. It's not in this room. But I do know that it's the same type of yarn that I just used. No, I need to go front to back on this one. Okay, and then knit through the back loop. There's so few stitches on these needles that my needles are getting in the way. I suppose that's one benefit to circulars, is all that doesn't get in the way. I just can't seem to make circulars work for me when it comes to socks. I find that I get so much laddering on the joins, it's crazy. It's not my favorite. Because then if I can make that work, then I should be able to make 2 at a time work. And I cannot wrap my brain around the magic loop method. Front to back, knitting through the back. A triangle, excuse me, a diamond, shapes. I'm good with shapes. Knit row. That bubble actually isn't looking too bad. It's kind of hidden actually. I may not need to sew that in. I'm going to check the other side. If that's the case, I may weave in the my starting yarn now so it doesn't get in the way. Or I'll do that off stream, I guess. That's probably better. See, folks don't need to see that, right? Well, there's still a bubble on this side. I will fix it. I'll do that off stream. Once I have this toe established, that'll be my off stream duty. That and figuring out what the heck is wrong with Streamlabs. Yeah, this one's got a significant bubble. I don't know if I'll be able to fix that. Let's see. That'll be where my big toe goes. So I guess it'll be hidden. It'll match the big toe. Provided I wear it on my left foot, I guess. Ooh, that whole stitch is only hanging on by like a single fiber. There we go. Okay. 3. Increase row. Back to front. I don't know why I'm gonna have to say this for every single one, but turns out I am. There we go. And front to back, knitting through the back. Back to front, knit through the front. You're still not seeing what I'm doing because I'm not in the camera. Oh. All right, and front to back, knitting through the back. I know that I have to knit through the back on the left side and knit through the front on the right side, and it's the opposite direction picking them up, so I have to say it out loud to get that sorted. Okay, that was an increase, now it's a knit row. Poor camera is losing its mind, having to focus in and out because I keep shifting. I'm at the point of the night though where my back is hurting, so I may have to call this before I finish the toe setup. I don't know. Those are nice increases though. It looks very lovely. It's like they're just appearing in the knitting, which I suppose is the intent, right? I would have thought that it would have made it look like purl stitches, but nope, they're laying exactly right. Just trust the pattern. Knitty patterns are pretty good about that though. They make very good patterns. Definitely a publication worth checking out if you've never looked at their stuff before. They make some great things. This was an increased row, I think. Yes. I'm hoping so because I didn't, excuse me, a knit row, because I didn't increase there. So that's 4 of 10. Okay. So this one's an increase row. Back to front, knit through the front. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Good. That's how many we're supposed to have here. This is our 5th increase row. So 5 plus 8 is 13. So we're still on track. No forgotten increases. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I did that one in my head this time. Front to back, knit through the back. Okay. Back to front. Where the last skein of yarn was white and blue, this one is more of a mint and purple. Still the same type of yarn though. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. The same thing, like a solid color with a speckle. The last one also had a bit of silver in with the blue, just a little bit of sparkle. This one does not. I got a split stitch there, it's just poking out. How nice is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right, knit round. I don't know where the herringbone pattern is. I need to do that. Coming next, so I'll have to find that in this pattern. I think there's some portions here where I'm going to have to actually read through the pattern before continuing on. Like I'm just looking at, once I'm done this toe, I need to start the foot portion, which is the herringbone pattern across the instep, and then just knit across the sole. But then it says to work that until the sock, when tried on, reaches the front of the ankle. Where's the front of the ankle? Is that like... Because it's a heel flap. Because you would knit to the end of the actual length of the foot, right? And then you do the heel flap, heel flap. I'm gonna have to actually read this entire pattern through and really consider the construction. Understand what they mean. Because normally you start it at like 2 inches from the length of the foot or whatever. But the front of the ankle, I have no idea where that is. All right, that was a knit robe, so there we go, another repeat done. I may have to look at other people's work on this and see. There's a very noisy vehicle going by. very noisy. I apologize. Hopefully that didn't come through. Losing a stitch marker because I split the yarn. Okay. There. Knitting through the front of my increased stitch. So this one will be 14 stitches per needle. And we're going front to back, knitting through the back. And back to front, knitting through the front. I am constantly picking up the stitch underneath doing this. Marking into things. All right. Well, that certainly could be taken out of context, that particular phrase. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to stop before I finish establishing this entire toe. It is time. So finish this particular increase. 4, 8, 12, 13. Okay. Front to back, knit through the back. And there we go. Now it's a knit round. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stop at the end of this round. I will, after a break, finish establishing this toe so that next week Sunday we can go right into the actual knitting of the foot. Hopefully by that time I'll figure out what they mean by the front of the ankle, and then we can go from there. I'm knotting this again. I'm like a little kid, you know? Gots to go, gots to go. Gotta keep moving. But that's only 4 rounds, excuse me, 8 rounds altogether to finish the toe, so it's just more of the same. You're not really missing anything. Yeah, that is a really pretty increase. I don't know if you can see that or not. I like it. My needles are starting to not be in the way, which is good. We're starting to get to the correct number of stitches. All right, there we are. So if I do this, let me mark off this particular round first. Nice little toe showing up here. It's taken shape nicely. All right, so that's where I'll stop today. I will, for the next stream next week, for the next sock stream next week, I will finish the next 4 repeats of this bit so that I have the full toe established. I'm going to get rid of that thread on the inside there and try and close up the bubble, although it's not looking too bad right now. It's actually it's not bad. It's kind of hidden in there. So I'll get that figured out. I will read through my pattern instructions to figure out the whole heel flap issue. And as well, on Wednesday, I will be back and doing some crochet with you on the Afghan, the lattice Afghan, lapgan thing, the lattice work. And hopefully I'll have my Streamlabs working properly so that I have full functionality on this stream. So that's that. I appreciate you hanging out with me today. I'm sorry for all the technical difficulties, but we made it through. We got a sock. We got a completed sock, which is, you know, goal met. That's the thing. Again, check out my shout outs if you were able to hear them at all. I hope they were. Legal Kimchi and Siren Faye, if you can. Definitely highly recommended. And in the meantime, we will see you on Wednesday. Take care of yourself. We'll see you then.